Good evening. Once again, we can just start with just sharing the names and why are you here precisely. So just in one sentence, if you all can share. So you want to start?
I'm here with Raj Yoga. Hi, I'm a Christian. I'm here to relax my body and mind.
Yeah, wanted to have a regular yoga practice, but meditation practice is also I'm very interested.
Nice. And let's come to online.
I'm recent to all the meditation and the BK, and I found a lot of things are coming up, and I just want to know how to deal with all the other stuff from many, many years just come up, in a different form now, and I need to know how to deal with these. And I'm hoping to get an answer, well, hopefully.
Oh.
I'm from Melbourne. So I have two daughters. So I'm married. So yeah, I sometimes am very emotional person. So that's why I'm joining how to handle ours with family emotions and thoughts. So yeah, I'm very keen to learn everything. Yeah.
Yes. So I would say welcome. In today's session, and in a couple more sessions, you will know if this is exactly what you want currently in your life with whatever you're dealing. And this meditation course, this is just to learn a little bit more about our own mind and our own feelings and how we can have a richer experience of life despite whatever is happening outside. So through these 10 sessions, so every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there is a session for an hour. And 90% of the time, we will be discussing some aspects of knowledge. It's a knowledge-based course. And every day for 10, 15 minutes, we will do some meditation, and then we will build on it. But it's more important for us to spend some time understanding our own psyche a little bit, our own why we think what we think, why we are feeling what we feel, those sort of things. And once we have a better idea of all these questions, then it's very easy to meditate, actually. So you will see that we are discussing more and practicing. There will be time for practice, but once you are understanding these ideas, then it will be very easy to concentrate the mind. Yes, so this sounds like a good idea. Do you want to concentrate the mind? So we'll just start with one basic question, that while we are all seated on our chairs, if someone comes and ties a rope and ties us to the chair, ties you to the chair, what, how will it impact you, in the sense that very objectively, how is it going to impact you if you are tied to a chair? You can't move freely. What else?
It's too tight, maybe it's painful.
It's painful as well. Okay. Yes.
Be fearful.
Yes, you might feel fear if you're tied to a chair and you're stuck, basically. And so, this thing about, once we are tied to the chair, this is like a physical bondage. Physically, I'm, in a bondage with something. So all our relationships, relationships are like, the word that we use is bond. Every relationship is like a bond. And bondage, where I am not able to move as per my, freedom, or I'm not able to move as per my will. This is what a bondage does to us. Now, we just give this, let's look at this example. There is someone in Melbourne, person A, and there's another person in USA, person B. Can these two people be in a bondage? Person A and person B? Can they be in a bondage? How can they be in a bondage?
You talk to them, you still carry the conversation, you're still stuck with them.
You're still stuck with them. You can still, yes, through emotions. Yes. Any
Codependency.
through dependency. Yes.
Like your brother or sister.
So, being related doesn't mean necessarily that we are in a bondage with them. So, as we said, we have the freedom to create bonds, friendly bonds, but also the freedom to create bondage. And we have to understand the difference between a bond and a bondage. Bondage is like we are tied, emotionally we are tied to that person, and it's like just like if you're physically tied to a pole, you cannot move, you cannot. There will be fear, there will be feeling of being stuck, you will feel helpless. It's the same thing here as well. So bondage means now I cannot move, I cannot, my energy is really stuck. Yes? And we have to understand what is the seed of this bondage. So from person A in Melbourne and person B in USA, and they have created this bondage. What is the seed? There can be a conflict. Yeah, conflict is one of the reasons. Anything else? What is the seed of a conflict?
Love.
Expectations. So, an expectation, what it does is that if I expect that, Luke shouldn't move, yeah. So anytime Luke moves, I will be upset, yeah, because I've set an expectation. And so as soon as I create an expectation, whoever I am expecting from is in a powerful position. They come into a position of being a master, and I put myself in a position of being a slave. Yes. So whenever this scenario is created between any two minds, then there is a bondage. So expectations put me in a position of being a slave till my expectation is fulfilled. I cannot feel happy. So now I'm dependent. And as soon as I am dependent, then what happens is that, they have power over me. Yes. So is it possible to be in, be in relationships with everyone and have no bondages?
Possible.
Possible or not? Yes or
Very hard.
yes? Yes or no?
No.
Yes, it's possible. What about yes? For when we hear a question and objectively think in yes or no, then we can deal with another question which is hard or easy or all that. But as soon as we hear something and our mind says it's difficult, then we're not even answering the basic question that is it possible or not? So the question is it possible to be in relationships and have no bondages? Is that possible? No. Yes. Yes. And to say this question to put this in another words, is it possible for me to not create expectations with the outside world? Is that possible? No. No, it's not possible. Is it, it's not possible for you to not have expectations? No. So we are understanding that we are born to be slaves, because expectation means that someone else is a master. So we have to again understand and answer this question for ourselves, that are we slaves or are we masters? If the answer is no, then it means that we are born to be slave and we have to live the life of a slave. Then there's no point in having this discussion, because um, we, we have the option to continue to expect. And if we continue to expect, then we cannot deny that there will be worry and complaints and sorrow in our life. It will be part of our life. But only if we want to get out of it, then we have to explore a different mindset. Yeah. So what are the what are the answers online? Is it possible to have loving bonds with everyone, but no bondage? Mhm. You can type in the chat box. So when we were talking about these two people, or even right now, any time that we create an expectation, so who creates the expectation? We create the expectation. And do we have control over our own mind? Or is someone else has a control over our mind? You have the control. So if you have the control over your mind, then is it up to you to expect and not expect? Yeah. So again, with the question, is it possible for me, not to expect? Is that possible? Yes. And how can we, you know, there is a slight difference between, okay, I think I'll go a little bit back, and there are some answers. Yeah, there are a lot of comments from the online. So we look at this, this rectangle, and this rectangle is basically, this represents the entire world. Let's just assume this represents the entire world. So it is a symbol for the sun, the moon, stars, everything. Family, workplace, everything, your house. What else? What else is in the world that I've missed out? Anything else is in the world? People, work, what else? The basics, food, water, climate, everything is, within this world. So within this box. Anything else? Plants. Sorry? Plants, animals. Yeah, yeah. What else?
Our ideas inside this box, like the notion of self, the notion of right and wrong.
Right. Yes. All of that is based on this box. All of this is based on this physical world. But money is also inside this. So people, possessions, money, everything, house, everything is inside this physical world. And this represents, the entire physical world. Physical world, when we think about this world, what are some of the obvious, facts about this physical world? About people, about climate, about money, about positions, job. Is there anything obvious about these things? Sorry,
It's not permanent.
it is not permanent. It is not permanent. It keeps changing. So this is something very obvious about the physical world, that it keeps changing. So people inside it, um, possessions, yeah, positions, everything inside the box is under the law of change. And so if something is under the law of change, then it is also going to be unpredictable because it's constantly changing. The outside world, it's constantly changing. We we may have an idea about how things will be, but you can't predict. It's unpredictable. Yeah? So it is going to change. It's constantly changing, and it is unpredictable. And also, because it's changing and it's unpredictable, everything has a beginning and an end. So absolutely everything, because if nothing is permanent, it has a beginning and an end. So when we listen to these ideas, these are obvious facts, obvious facts. And so now we think about our house. So with the house, that also has a beginning and an end. Position, that also has a beginning and an end. Relationships, they have a beginning and they have an end, including the body, including our physical body, which is part of the physical world, that also has a beginning and an end. That is constantly changing as well. And everything within this box is under this law. Is it sensible to expect anything from this box where the law is that it's always changing? What do you think? Will it be sensible? If there is if you meet a person, they are extremely moody and their mood is always changing, would you, want to trust this person? What sort of a relationship will you have? Not necessarily a bad one, but when you know that this is their nature, you deal with them in that, your approach is different. So right now, what is happening is when we forget this very obvious aspect, this extremely obvious aspect of change and unpredictability, then there is this, only then we have this, we use our free will to expect. Because if I know that this is constantly changing, rather than my approach will be from expectation to acceptance. Approach changes. I can set and I can have an aim, but then when something else happens, I'm also okay with it. So acceptance is completely opposite to expectation. Expectation puts me in a bondage. Till it happens the way I want it, I cannot be at peace. But acceptance opens my, expands my thought process. And acceptance means that I take things as they are, and my inner experience, and actually my actual experience, is not based on what and how it is. No matter what, I'm accepting it. There is no rejection of what is. There's no rejection. And why there is no rejection? Because it's very obvious that things are always changing. So this is something that is very obvious for everyone and all of us, provided we just spend some time really looking at this world. Today we have this opportunity that when we walk out of this room, we remember that what we are dealing with as experiencers, whatever we are dealing with is constantly under the law of unpredictability and change. Constantly. And as soon as I know the obvious, something that is very obvious, I don't ignore it, I know it. That is the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom starts there. And what is, wisdom? to not take sorrow where it's not required. Basically, a life of sorrow and sadness is not necessary for all of us. It has its own place, but it's not compulsory to be sad and to be sorrowful, to know that to experience life. It's not necessary. We just like we can, how do I put it in different words? But what we are trying to say is it is very much possible to lead a life of complete acceptance. And with complete acceptance, I can see myself wherever I'm expecting. I can see that I'm ignoring the obvious bits of life. And with knowledge, I can transform that, I can change that. And we looked at this previously, but again, we'll look at it now, that what happens with expectation. I put myself in the position of being a slave, and someone else being the master. With this, what happens? I've given away my power. I've given away my power, and someone else has the power, or something else, or the situation has the power. And with this mindset, my entire life will have very low quality of emotions. Whenever I'm expecting means that 100% there will be, sooner or later, I will experience sorrow. Whenever I expect, I have to know that even if even for the first time, if my expectation is fulfilled, it's actually more dangerous. You know what? It's more dangerous because now I am, 200%, ready to expect more next time. And so I've put myself in a very risky position. And now that it doesn't happen, then it's life or death. Sometimes it becomes like that. So every time we expect, we put ourselves in the position of being a slave. And whenever I am in the mindset of a slave in our society, the lowest sort of quality of life is of a slave, lowest quality of life. Someone who is in many cultures, it's like a punishment. When you want to punish someone, then you put them in, you make them slaves. So slavery, here, it means that leading the lowest quality of life. Whereas as soon as I look at this bigger picture, that everything here and everyone here is under the law of change. No matter how much I guarantee that I will be with you. Is there a guarantee? I, with my best intentions and with my purest intentions, I can say that I'll be with you. But there is no guarantee. Something can happen and the guarantee is not there because it's always changing. So someone who's very sensible will always see the bigger picture. And as soon as we see the bigger picture, then I can approach everything with acceptance. And acceptance means leading a life with the highest emotions, the best quality of emotions. What are some of the best quality of emotions? Happy, yeah. Content, yeah. Very content, peaceful. What else? Powerful, yeah. You feel powerful. You have a love, because if we look at this, with rationality, and we are, throughout this course, whatever we discuss, it will be from the point of view of, being rational and objective, rationality. So we see that we may, have a lot of love for someone, a family member, or, all the relationships. There's a lot of love. And one day this person decides to do everything that I dislike, absolutely everything. Is there love now? Do you still love them? Do you still love them? They've decided to, all the ideas that you have of wrong, bad, never do it. They are going out and doing that. So is there love? So we understand that whenever we expect and expectations being fulfilled, that we consider as love. And the day someone decides to do what they want to do, then there is no love. We can say that there is no love. And with this life of acceptance, acceptance means that there is love. Love means that I'm not rejecting. I'm not rejecting you. I'm not, I don't have any rejection for your behavior. So acceptance means no rejection. Yes, so these are high quality emotions. Yes.
If we need to live a life of acceptance, how do we draw a line from accepting right or wrong? You know, sometimes there's evidently wrong, maybe that the situation has
Behavior,
done or a person has done. Does that mean we keep on accepting that as well? And is that the level of acceptance?
Acceptance, it's a very good question then that when someone does, something wrong, do we accept it or do we, not accept it? Acceptance, what it means is that um, acceptance doesn't mean that I am agreeing with you. So if someone's behavior is not right, I accept them, but it doesn't mean that I agree with them. Yes. And so from an energy point of view, from my feelings and my experience, there is no rejection. But I am not in agreement. I can be in disagreement and still have absolute acceptance, no rejection, because I understand the bigger picture, which is that each one is, sort of each one is doing what they know, to do. Everyone is coming from a place of understanding, and they have the best intentions, or sometimes they don't, but whatever they understand, they each one is functioning as per their understanding. So when we see this bigger picture, I may not agree with something, but I still have acceptance. So it doesn't mean that I go about agreeing to everything. So I can take the necessary steps. I can communicate with them. I can open up with them. But energy, is not. There is no rejection. There is no. Um, there is no expectation, because the day you know, if I get shocked by someone being a certain way, like someone I thought is very good and very nice, and the next day they do something and I'm very shocked. So that also shows me that I have an expectation for them to be this way, or I did have an idea that this person is like that, and they stay like that. But the bigger picture is that each one, even for us, even for our own self, we may be, we may have guaranteed a lot of things and we may have promised a lot of things, but many times we cannot fulfill it. Yeah? So it works like that. Everything is changing and situations come and a lot of things. So we have this option to be light about everything. We have the option to, as we will move ahead, we have the option to see everything through fresh eyes, new eyes. And this meditation course means having, we don't go about, seeking new landscapes. Someone has said it in, very good words, that we are not seeking new landscapes, but you get new eyes. So with new eyes, same people, same situations, same relationships, but now you have new eyes. You know that in this, everything comes in this box and everyone is under the law of, just like there is law of gravity, anything that you throw up will go down. It's the same thing. Things can change, situations can change, market can change. No matter how much it is promised that this job and this position is stable and permanent, but it's nothing is like that. Nothing is guaranteed. We live in this beautiful country and it's the most livable city and whatnot, but it's not guaranteed that things don't happen here. what's happening in Queensland and other places. It's everything is uncertain. So it's not a very big problem if something is uncertain. We will see, in the next few sessions that something or someone can be, unpredictable and things can be uncertain, but that is not the problem. The problem is our expectation of it to be a certain way. Once we know that this, sofa chair is a sofa chair, then I will not confuse it with a bed. And so I will use it in the right way. So it's just about understanding and accepting that this physical world, this entire box, is unpredictable and under the law of change. There is no problem in it. There is no problem if things are going to change. It's just that if I expect it, the sofa chair to be a bed, my perception is a problem. But sofa chair itself is not a problem. So it's the same thing that we all have sort of we've come into this world. Yeah? Do you agree we've come into this world? And so if you agree with this, then what else happens? We can go back from this world. We can leave this world, right? So we come into this world and we also leave this world at some time. So when you have a relationship that I can come in and then leave, then does it mean that I'm permanent here? No. So what does it make me in the context of this physical world, which is changing and all this? What does it make me? What's my relationship with this world then? It's like, you all are here for an hour or so. So for me, what are you people? Guests? Visitor. Yeah? You're a visitor and you're not permanent here. So we may have, permanent residency and permanent citizenship, but do you have permanent, citizenship of this world? No. Can you apply for that? Is there a way to apply for permanent citizenship? No, there's no way, right? So our relationship with this world is of a visitor. So each one and everyone, we're all visiting this world. And once I accept this and know this, that I'm a visitor in this world, then I have fresh eyes and new eyes for everything. We have completely forgotten that we are visiting. No? And so when I've forgotten that I'm visiting here, then so if if you go back to your home and you have visitors and they have come here for the long weekend and they are going to leave in 2 days, but then after 2 days they are still there. There is no trace of them leaving. So third day they are still there, fourth day they are still there, and they have completely forgotten that they had to leave. So now they take your car and they say it's my car. They're wearing your clothes and they're very happy. They say they're my clothes. So this sort of confusion when someone has forgotten that they have to leave, and what happens? There is natural, which is not natural, it's abnormal, but there is ownership. Once you have forgotten that you have to leave, there is ownership. And wherever there is ownership, then I'm not in the right alignment. Whenever there is ownership for anything, then I will naturally take things for granted. I will. There are with ownership there is domination and a lot of other things. As soon as there is ownership, possessiveness, then there is a lot of problems that come with it. So if the visitor has forgotten that he is visiting, then it's a big problem. Yeah, if you come from another country to this country on a 3-month visa, but you've forgotten, then legally there are legal problems as well. So same way, what this physical world is saying It's like our relationship with the world is of a visitor. And as long as we have that in our consciousness, then it's a great journey. Then you enjoy the journey. Then your kids won't appear to be your kids. You don't want to, you don't want to own them. You don't want to, boss them around. But you will have so much respect for the visitor. So each relationship from with different relationships, different expectations. So that will naturally transform, and you have respect for each visitor. So I am a visitor on a journey. This is a visitor on a journey. So when there is this respect in relationships, be it somebody of 5-year-old or a 50-year-old or 100-year-old, my vision and my respect and my love is the same. Yes. And with this, respect and love, if I tell something which I feel is absolutely right and they should do it, they will be receptive about it. Yes. But if I walk into the relationship that this is my daughter and she has to listen to me, then obviously the visitor is not respected. So ears shut, nobody is going to listen. Nobody is going to take any suggestion, no matter how good it is. So each invisible, visitor it has to be respected. Just like if someone's visiting a country, it's our sort of it's a natural duty to respect the visitors. Yes. So same way, each invisible visitor needs to be respected. And when we say needs to be respected, it doesn't mean that I need to bow down or do anything, but I need to see them as a visitor. I need to realize that this is a visitor. And how can I see others as a visitor? When I myself, take myself and see myself as a visitor. So the vision that I have for myself naturally is what I have for others. Yes? If my vision of myself is based on this box, the nationality within this box and the gender and the other labels, then that is what I see when I look at others. Yes? So when I see nationality, culture, language, all of this, then I'm disrespecting the visitor. Yes? I'm disrespecting myself first, and then I'm disrespecting this visitor. So let's, create this this very natural and the absolute truth that each one is a visitor. And to begin with, I myself, I'm a visitor. So we will do some practice now, but just for 1 or 2 minutes. We can start with 1 minute, 2 minutes, even 5 minutes, wherever I am, wherever we are, in an office, in a house, or doing some chores or whatever. Just internally, completely, understanding and seeing everything as if I am here for the first time, just like a visitor. I am coming from another world, and entering in this physical world as a visitor, and I do not own anything. Nothing belongs to me. Nothing belongs to me, and it's not a problem. It's a great thing. Like right now, all of you have come here. Nothing belongs to you, but is there a problem? It's so good. The chair doesn't belong to you, but you are using it. The floor doesn't belong to you, but you're using it. So we can use everything, but we are not owning it. So, when we live in a rented house, we use everything, but we take care of the house and we are very cautious of the walls and everything. So, using something doesn't mean that I need to own it. Coming into relationships doesn't mean I need to own them. We can still have relationships, we still have things, but no ownership, no, no, you know, no expectations. So anywhere that you are, for 5 minutes, just for 5 minutes, seeing this idea, seeing from this perspective. And in these minutes, the true self, the invisible visitor, becomes conscious. The invisible visitor is in the image of a tiny star, very tiny star. This tiny star comes in the world of action and sound and movements, the physical world. The non-physical traveler, visitor, comes into the physical world and he gets a body. It's like when we go to a museum, you get a ticket, you scan a code, then you visit the entire museum. You can spend a lot of time there reading and seeing different places. But you know that you have an exit. At some point, you will exit the museum. Same way, similarly, the invisible traveler, visitor, gets the body and he can then visit different places and spend time in the physical world, knowing that he has an exit. He knows that he is here for some time, but after some time he will leave. So he doesn't need to own anything. He doesn't need to create expectations. He's a being of acceptance. The traveler is accepting his truth of being a traveler. And this naturally relaxes the mind. Internally, this is such a good news. It's a good news. I'm here for a short time. Don't need to own anything, but can use everything. In this perspective, when I look at others, there is natural respect for the traveler, the visitor. Each one is on a journey. Each one. And the travelers are ultimately from the same family. All the visitors are from the same family. So no one gets lost or no one gets distant. this word a lot, Om Shanti. And what it means is I am peaceful. So whenever someone says Om Shanti, it is a self reminder that I am peace, Shanti. That's why we use the word. And the traveler is eternally peaceful. There is no chaos within the traveler. All chaos is created because of confusion, not knowing that I'm a traveler. So just spending the homework for next 24 hours to keep coming back to this position that I'm a visitor, even with the people that I am closest with, even in the places that I completely convinced that I own these places, coming back to this place. I'm a visitor, can leave anytime. And it's not in my hand when to leave, but this reminder, this is a good reminder that I'm here for a short time. And this knowing that I'm here for a short time will change all our perspectives. The energy that we bring to relationships and the energy that we take from relationships, that all gets changed. And you know that you're from for a short time, just visiting. So there is no space to hold grudges. There is no space for anger. Yes. Any comments? Any questions?
Sometimes when you see that it's a temporary thing, your mind automatically wants to hold on to it. Right? For example, we are trying to sell our house, which we own. So I was okay with it. Yes, I'm going to move with it. This was happening when I was traveling. But when I come back home,
Yeah.
completely different. First few days I did, enjoy thinking that, okay, I'm going to move out of this place. So I'm trying to take as much as possible from the space. But after a week, I feel like I can't let this go.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite natural for us to think like that. How do we, grow that mindset to embrace that result and
Just again and again, doing this practice because we have never really, never ever, in these so many years, never have this thought ever come to our mind that I have to leave. Never. We may send, WhatsApp images and Facebook posts to people when they leave that, may you rest in peace and all have to leave. But for our own self, it never ever occurs in 50 years also. Someone can live for 100 years and it will not enter for even once. So this is the first time that we have the opportunity to entertain this thought for my own self. And you see, it will just completely change. The what you're saying is it does happen, because when you're in the place and you've created so many attachments and bondages, and I'm not doing anything else, like in my mind, I'm not working towards a different direction, then naturally this will pull me. But now we are, sowing new seeds, nourishing these seeds. For a long time, we've nourished this. This my. How many times do we use this language, my home, my house, every day, in and out, in and out. We don't even need to use that language. We just know it so clearly. It's my house. Yeah? So we're just trying to nourish very silently. You don't need to go and announce, that this is not my house. You just do it silently for a very short time, 5 minutes. And you tell yourself, next 24 23 and 23 hours and 55 minutes, this is my house. 5 minutes, it's not. just for 5 minutes. So you see, mind will be more receptive. For 23 hours and 55 minutes, this is my, wife. But for 5 minutes, no. 5 minutes, it's a traveler on a journey. 5 minutes, I'm a traveler on a journey. But in those 5 minutes, uh, you know, we do it with complete honesty. Yeah? In those 5 minutes, really, no other, associations, but very clearly that there's a traveler. Anytime you can leave, anytime, you will be asked to leave, anytime. So just that 5 minutes will have so much power that it will, next 23 hours have the power, it has the power to change the 23 hours, how you view them, how you take them in. So it's very powerful. Just like when we charge our phones, it gets discharged in 3 days or 2 days. But when you charge your phone, you don't need 3 days. You just need half an hour, 1 hour, because charging is always quick than discharging. So same way, we have nourished unconsciously. We have nourished different mindset, opposite egoistic mindset, basically. But for me to nourish the truth, it won't take as much time. 50 years I can say my, but 5 minutes, purely doing it again and again, it will change. So the truth is always easy and takes less time. But what is not truth, whatever is false, takes a lot of time to go into our system. But this is quick process. But provided I practice it again, 5 minutes, I nourish it completely. So you tell your mind that it's my house, but not for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, it's someone else's. So that will give a lot of power. So, Om Shanti. Thank you. Thank you.